Hello and welcome to my channel. Last year I went on an adventure tour to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and this past summer I returned to Alaska and did a 10-day solo tour. And a lot of family and friends asked me, well, what happens if you get wet or if it's cold or wet? So I thought before we start doing videos on the most recent tour, I'd talk about the gear that I wear when I'm riding. Not the gear on the bike, but just what I have on myself. I thought I'd start first off with the most important thing is the helmet. You can ask 100 people their opinions on what's the best helmet to buy, and you'll get 95 opinions. I won't give any opinion. This is what I buy. This is what I wear. I have for many years. I think it's a really good brand. What do I like about this helmet? First of all, it's a premium helmet. It fits really, really well on your head. If you're new to motorcycling and you don't know much about it, any old helmet isn't the right kind of helmet to wear. Head shapes vary, and so Arai makes 3 different helmet shapes to fit different style helmet sizes, head sizes. So you need one that fits properly. This here is the snuggest helmet I've ever put on. It's rather difficult to get on because the collar on the bottom side is very restrictive. But when you put it on, once it's on your head, it's very comfortable, very nice finished interior, very good helmet. This is generally a street helmet. I wouldn't say it's an adventure helmet. You know, there are open face helmets, there are full face helmets, and then there are helmets that have the chin part that pops up. Those are very popular amongst adventure riders. I prefer to have this kind of helmet here. It's a really nice helmet. It does a fine job. It's got lots of ventilation on it. I have a pin lock film on the inside of the visor to prevent fogging. I like everything about it except one thing, and on this one thing, Arai completely missed the boat. When you close the visor, there's this little tab here you have to pull down and lift with your finger. It's really hard. I need 2 hands. See? On the bike, even with thin gloves, it's almost impossible to do. So with my winter gloves, heavy gloves, there's no way to open the visor up. So what I think I'm going to do, see that little tab right there? I'm going to cut or grind it off so that it doesn't catch on this hole right here like it's supposed to. That way I can open my visor. Because on the road, particularly when it's raining, I close the visor, I cannot open it again until I take my glove off and open it. Huge miss from Arai. Otherwise, I love this helmet. It's a really great helmet. Okay, so that's the head. So what else do I start with? Well, I won't talk about briefs or t-shirts, but that's what I wear as my first layer. Over those, I wear, you can call them thermals. They're merino wool undergarments. This is the top, and then I wear the same bottoms. Okay? These are really, really warm, odor absorbing, but they don't smell. They wick moisture away from your body, and they don't itch. I don't like wool itching me. These don't itch. So these are very, very useful. I've worn them now for 2 seasons, and they're beginning to show a little bit of wear, but overall, very nice. Merino wool. That's what I would get. The next thing I put on after those are the pants. So just like helmets, you can ask 100 people different ideas about what is the best riding suit to buy, and you'll get 100 different opinions probably. These are double as rain and riding pants. They're very thick, lots of pockets, lots of vents. They're very comfortable to wear. So on my bottom, my legs, I wear the merino wool thermals, and I wear my riding pants. And if I have rain expected, I have rain pants, Gore-Tex rain pants I wear over this, although I don't really have to, but I do because I want to keep these clean. Okay? These have seen about 3,000 miles of Alaskan dirt and mud and road, and they don't look marked up at all. Okay? So those are the riding pants. These happen to be Scorpion brand. You can spend a lot more money. You can spend less. Just, you know, if you want to buy something like this and you're riding adventure touring, you need to figure out what your budget is and look in that range of budget. There's a whole lot of options out there for riding clothes. Okay, over my merino wool top, the thermal top that I wear a heated jacket. It's going to be cold enough. This is I think it's a Gerbing electric jacket, and it has heated panels in the back, in the collar, and in the arms. So it keeps you very warm. In a later video, I'll show you the electronics that control all this, all the electrical stuff you have to hook up. Inside this pocket here is where you connect your jacket to your battery. Okay, it goes to a controller, but you have two things. One is for the jacket and one is for the gloves. Okay, I also wear heated gloves. So basically, out of the end of each sleeve, you got a little pocket here, and in the pocket is a connector. Here's your glove. Has a little connector there. You plug it in. So you do that on both sides so that when you're wearing the jacket, even if you have an outer riding jacket on top of it, your gloves are plugged in. So the controller I have, which I'll show in a later video, along with all the electronics that cook it all up together, is a dual controller. So I can adjust the temperature of the jacket independent of the gloves. Okay, so very nice thing to have. This really keeps you warm. I've ridden this down to the low 30 degrees with just what I described that I wear here and been completely comfortable, not cold at all. Okay, then the top, the jacket, is this baby here. Again, it's the matched set with those pants there. Your Scorpion brand. They have armor padding in the shoulders, elbows, has a huge back panel, and then even on the inside, on the front, there's this pad here that goes in front of your chest, and you zip it all up, it's in front of you. This also doubles as a rain suit. Last year I wore a rain suit over the top of this. I don't think it was necessary. This year I had some very heavy rains that rode through. This worked well as a rain suit. The only problem is if you don't zip up the front all the way up, water will leak in at the neck area and go down and get you wet in the middle of the chest. Otherwise, very nice suit. It's pretty heavy. Okay, it's made of a really heavy material to protect you if you go down. Lots of pockets. Two here, two here. They both zip and close. There's a lot of vents all around. Very nice jacket. Okay, so that's all of that. Two more pieces. Oh, I forgot to mention, I wear wool socks as well. Okay, my feet are never cold. My legs are never cold, which brings me to the gloves. These are heavy winter riding gloves made by California Heat, but they're not really in California at all. They're back east somewhere. These are nice gloves. They're very comfortable to wear. They're very thick. They have heating elements in the back of the fingers, across the back of the knuckles, in the palm. So these will heat your hand up and keep it warm. Again, plugged in to the jacket connector. You don't have to have them plugged in, but they're very comfortable. I like these a lot. They're very nice. They've kept my hands very cool, very warm in very, very cool, cold weather. I need to get, the one thing I don't like about these is if your hand gets wet or moist or damp, or the inside of the glove is wet, the inner liner bunches up and it makes it almost impossible to get your fingers into the finger slots. And so that's kind of a problem sometimes, but I have a solution for that. Okay, last thing I wear are riding boots. Again, many, many, many choices to make here. There's motocross boots, touring boots, there's adventure boots, there's all sorts of kinds of riding boots. These are sort of a cross between adventure and street. I've worn these for about 3,500 miles worth of riding. I've done a fair amount of walking in them. You can see that they last very long. They're very dirty, and I haven't cleaned them since my last trip. But these are very comfortable to wear. They have a little bit of a hinge in the back, so your leg can kind of move back as well. It doesn't really cramp your style. They have a steel toe, and they have a steel plate on the inside to protect your shin. And they have protection all the way up. This is a very hard surface. I'm not sure what's under there. Maybe a metal plate to protect your ankle. So very nice. They work really well. They slip on very easily. And I've been through horrendous rainstorms with them and horrible mud, and my feet have never been wet. Work very good. If you look on the reviews online, these are, what's the name of these boots here? Don't remember. The model's Drytech. Forma. That's right, Forma Drytech. The online reviews only have one comment to make that could have been improved upon, and these little straps here are plastic. And you would think that eventually they might break, and then you can't strap your boot on, okay? But so far so good. So that's what I wear on the bike, okay? I've got thermal bottoms and thermal tops that are merino wool. I wear wool socks. I wear my riding boots. I have my riding pants. I have my heated jacket with a riding jacket on top of that, my heated gloves, and my Arai helmet. and I'm ready to go. So that's what I wear when I ride. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll try to respond to them. I thought I'd talk about how those all get hooked up to the bike. Mind you, you have to make sure that your bike's charging capacity can handle the extra power demand of this. You can buy electric gloves, electric vest, electric pants, electric socks. You put those on all at the same time, it really puts a load on your charging system. So you have to make sure that your bike's charging system can handle that capacity. So presuming it does, I only wear a vest, an electric coat, and gloves. And this is how it works. So you have a connection to your battery. It's a fused connection. It should also have a fuse in it. So this gets hooked up directly to your battery terminals right here, positive, negative. I zip tie this somewhere near the seat after it's been connected to the battery on the other end. I plug in the controller, the input side of the controller, and then I have two outputs. One of these outputs goes to gloves, one of them goes to the pants. So when I look at my jacket, there's a little pocket on the left inside that has two jacks, okay? White label goes to white, black goes to black. And this is the jacket. It says jacket right there. And this is for the gloves, okay? So now I've got a control that control gloves or jacket independently. Again, from the last video, you may recall that each sleeve has a lead for the gloves. So you plug your glove in on one side, here's the other side, plug the other glove on this side, and now my gloves are connected to my sleeves on each side, notice, and I'm connected my controller into the jacket itself, right here and here. Okay? So now, if this were plugged into the wall, or into my bike, this is a 12-volt system, I can control my gloves independently from my jacket. And every time I push the button, it goes up by 1. It goes like from 1 to 9. And with a little red LED readout here, it tells you 1 to 9. So you can do this, you can make this adjustment on the road with big heavy gloves on. I do it all the time. So this is very convenient. It's sort of an upgrade. Many of them plug directly into your jacket. Some are just a 1-to-1, so your jackets and gloves are all the same temperature. But this is independent of each other. So that works out very well. The only trick to it is you have to remember that when you put this jacket on, when you put your riding jacket on, you have to obviously not have the gloves connected because you can't get them over your sleeves. And what I do is when I put the jacket on, when my hands go through the sleeves, I hold on to this. So when I put the jacket on, I slide it over my arms, these are sticking out so I can plug them into the jacket. After the first time you can't figure out how to get them through the sleeve, you figure out that there's an easier way of doing it. So the other thing to be concerned about is that if this is on, even if it's on 1, it's drawing power from your battery. So if your bike is stopped, not running, you're just drawing your bike battery down by having this on. So it's always good to either turn this off, or what I do is I just unplug it. And then when I get back on the bike, it turns it back on. It's the same settings it was when I unplugged it. So I maintain my settings, okay? Again, as I said in the other video, this jacket is very handy. It's got nice heated elements in the cuff. If it's up against your neck on a cold day, it feels really nice. So that's how I connect the electric jacket and gloves to the bike, okay? There are other heated systems where they're battery powered, where there's a battery hidden inside the glove. Each glove is a battery pack inside this. Personal preference, I'd rather have it hooked up to the battery. I don't want my batteries to run dead that are inside the gloves. I'd rather run off the bike battery, which you can recharge when you're running at higher speed, okay? So that's that. So how do adventure riders that videotape their travels keep their devices charged up when they're on the road? Their iPhones or their GoPros or whatever else they have, the device themselves is going to run out of battery sooner or later. So how do they keep them on the road? So this is what I did. I found a USB hub, this thing here, just found it online. What's neat about this is that I can, at the end of the day, I can go to my motel room and I can plug it in. I have a 110 connection here that plugs into right here, okay? Or I can, on the bike, I can plug this one in And then I have this little, I'm not sure what they call it, a little converter. It has a USB connection on one side and an SAE 2 pin on the other. All of my personal bikes and the bikes that I've rented in the past all have this connection already hooked up to the battery. So you plug this in, already connected to the battery. This end goes into here. Now if I've got power to my, hooked up to my battery, now I have power to my USB hub. So now what I can do, if I have a little connection on, a little mount on my handlebars that I can plug my phone into, I can plug my USB cable in. Here's my phone. I can plug it in, put it in the cradle on the handlebars, and turn it on. Now, I'm not plugged in right now, but if I was plugged in, I could press this button here, and this now charges. So I could have up to 5 devices charging or running simultaneously while I'm on the bike. Would I do that? Probably not. It's probably too much of a draw in addition to my heated gear. But I could do that if I wanted to. I could choose which ones to charge. At night, when I'm in a hotel room or on the road somewhere, I'll take my 110 connection and plug it into here, and I'll plug everything in, and I'll charge everything up so the next morning they're ready to go. One point I'll make here is that this connector, this hub, has only one controlled charging port. These others, as I understand it, they just charge at full rate. They don't decrease as the device begins to get charged. This port does. So I found that the GoPro doesn't like to be charged full rate with no drop off in charging rate. Every time I've done it, it locks itself up and it doesn't reset until the next morning. So I have to pay attention. The GoPro only goes on the metered or the regulated charging port. So to give an example here, here's my USB hub. I've got it plugged into 12 volts into the wall. I'm going to plug it into my hub. And I'll press this button once, and you'll notice the light came on. Red light came on. That tells me that there's power there. And now if I look at my phone, it's charging. It's 100% charged, but it's charging, okay? So whether I'm connected to a wall outlet, 120 volts, using this lead, or whether I use the 7-volt lead that comes from the battery, either one will work. Now, if I wanted to charge something else, I'll show you what it looks like. I can press the button. These are all blue. These all look blue to tell you that the red one is the regulated charging port, okay? So you can charge all these devices at one time, or none, if you want to, or just one, okay? So I found this to be exactly what I was looking for, to be able to hook up all my devices on my bike while I'm riding and not have to worry about, you know, how do you hook up 3 or 4 different things. This goes right through this hub. I wasn't sure how this was going to work on the road with vibration and wet and everything, but so far I've been very pleased. It works really well. Okay, so that's how I keep all my devices charged up on the bike or at night when I'm in a hotel room, get everything charged back up again. Okay, that's basic electronic stuff that I have on the bike. So I've talked about the gear that I wear, the clothing I wear, how I hook up all my electronic devices. One more thing I'll talk about before we get into the real videos of my trip was video. So I carry 3 different devices to record with. I bring an iPhone, which obviously can do video and stills. I bring a GoPro, which can do both of those. And I also bring this. This is a helmet-mounted Sika 10C Pro. This device, which mounts obviously on the side of the helmet, is a video, photo, radio, intercom, and about 12 other things. It does a lot. The only thing I use this for is video or stills. It takes really clear pictures. It's great video. It doesn't shake because it's mounted on the helmet, so your body takes up most of the motion. Highly recommended. It's light. It doesn't affect wind, blast, or draft or anything because it's hanging off the side of your helmet. You don't feel it. It doesn't weigh anything. It comes with a couple of speakers that are mounted inside and a boom mic that's mounted inside the chin bar. So when I turn it on, I get a voice command that says, you know, camera on or unit on. When I want to record, I press a button that says unit recording. If it goes quiet or dormant for about 5 minutes, it will shut down. It goes into sleep and it says camera off. So it's a really slick, handy little thing. I haven't learned all the features of it yet, but generally I just use it for video. It can also be a phone. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. It can also use as a phone, intercom, radio, video still. Quite an impressive little piece of hardware. It's very small, very light. It's one of the things that I charge up every night when I have that USB device. Okay? iPhones you're familiar with. GoPros, most people know about them as well. I would like to do is mount my iPhone on a handlebar mount and mount the GoPro on another handlebar mount. So the GoPro is looking at me. The iPhone I can use for directions or a map. And this looks forward. Okay? So that kind of covers what I wear, the electrical hookups, and the video capabilities that I carry with me. All right? All right, on to the videos. Talk to you later.
You're scary.
All right. I forgot something completely. Stop. If I'm plugged in, I've got power to this USB. I've got power to this USB router. I've got power to this USB coupler. I got power to this. What is this again?
USB hub.
Okay.